Scentland, the land of scent. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Hello and welcome everybody, it's Chris back with yet another... No, stop there, because it's not going to be a fragrance review. It's all about il vino, le vin, the wine today, okay? And salute to that. A lovely Cabernet Sauvignon from Vidlane in Hungary, and perfect to start off this little bit of a kind of a, well, insight into my wine habits and preferences. Okay, that's all what's all about today with this one. Mostly because some of you requested a weird thing for me to do a similar review. I did a review when I sort of looked at fragrances and cigars, which fragrance goes with which cigar, which is a fairly, it's a valid topic because these two pair up well. But some people requested me to do the same with fragrances and wines, and let me tell you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm so sorry, because anything that interferes with wine, there can be a cigarette, a cigar, a campfire, or a fragrance, just kills the bouquet, the smell and the taste of the wine. Okay, it just doesn't. They don't go along at all. As soon as you walk in with a strong fragrance or smoke a big cigar, it maybe goes well with the dessert wine. I like that, but you won't be able to enjoy a nice Cabernet Sauvignon or Sauvignon Blanc, anything like this, because immediately the fragrance, or again smoke from a cigar immediately kills the smell and taste of a good precious wine, and we won't allow that, will you? So obviously it's all about just the wines today and my personal preferences. Okay, it's not supposed to be an educational video. Maybe it is to a certain extent, but again, it's just my personal taste and opinion and experience, based on my experience. So I'm mostly a red wine drinker, and I love my lively, fruitier red wines. Okay, one thing I have to say, and I have to make a clear statement here: never any semi-sweet or sweet. Okay, forget about sweetness in a red wine. There are actually a few, extremely few exclusions of that. I think in Romania there's, for example, one sweet red wine that is genuinely sweet. Okay, but other than that, the red wine is dry, my friends. Okay. I have a friend who's a winemaker, and he said a sweet red wine is like putting a big dirty boot onto a beautifully set table. Okay, that's his opinion about sweet or semi-sweet red wines, and I totally share that. Okay, so red wines are my preferences, but I like some whites as well. In regards to the red wines, as I said, mostly the fruitier, lighter wines, red wines that I prefer, which are good just on their own, or having a nice conversation with just a bottle of wine on the table, and that's it. But I have to say, in all cases, each time and every time, drink responsibly. Okay, drink responsibly, because the wine is a living thing. Okay, so we should treat it like that. There's a lot of work behind it as well. A lot of soul and heart goes into a good wine. Okay, so we should actually consume it with respect. Okay, sometimes just the same way guilty as probably most of us. Sometimes I go overboard. Okay, I admit I'm guilty, but I'm trying to restrain myself and trying to control myself in order to not fall off the horse. Okay. And so, yeah, I mentioned the light, fruitier wine type. What do I mean in terms of which grape? Definitely Sangiovese. Sangiovese, which is, there you go, it's Italian, so we're going in straight into the regions as well. Sangiovese is great because it's really light on the palate, and it's joyful, playful. It's just beautiful, and it mostly goes into the Chianti. They use it in other wines as well, but it gives the Chianti the backbone. Sometimes a good Chianti, my favorite Chianti, for example, is purely Sangiovese. My favorite Chianti is Clemente Sette, which is a Chianti Classico, and coming from the Toscana region, okay, Tuscany. That's my favorite wine, and it's a like what, probably $15 bottle, okay. So nothing fancy, nothing overboard there. I have some fancy wines that I like, but as for my favorite, it's Clemente Sette from Toscana. It's absolutely 100% what I like. But I also like a nice Kadarka, which is similar. It's coming from this region around Hungary, Serbia, I think the origin is. Again, a light-bodied, very joyful, very playful wine. But I also like to get a bit more serious with a Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, or a Syrah, for example. Not that great fan of a Merlot, but I like Blaufränkisch, for example, a good Blaufränkisch. There's some great Austrian Blaufränkisch that I like, and so in terms of red wines, that's my preference. These are my preferences, but I always adore a good blend. I mean, a good blend of grapes, like we find in the French Bordeaux. The Bordeaux wines have this tremendous blends out there that consist of many times of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, a bit of probably a Merlot in there, and so on and so on. I don't want to bore you with that, but it really makes up for a great full-bodied blend of a Bordeaux that goes well with a serious, nice dinner with some nice steaks or stuff like that. And my favorite Bordeaux is from the house of Chateau Palmer. Okay, Chateau Palmer, which is ridiculously expensive, and obviously it's not a daily drinking subject for me, but from time to time, for special occasions, Chateau Palmer is the top of the tops for me in my experience. Obviously, there are I'm very open to even fancier ones, but the price tag is not always guaranteeing that you get something that is of matching your taste also. So that's also something very important. And then the white wines, I'm a fan of Chablis. Whenever in Paris, my wife and I, we definitely go for Chablis. But also I like my Sauvignon Blanc, for example, and that. So and I like dessert wines. I probably touched a little bit on that with a cigar. Dessert wines meaning a nice wine from California, or a Tokai from Hungary. But there is also some great German ones. So touching there already at the geographical aspects of this hobby, liking and trying wines all the time, because obviously as a European, I prefer European wines in general, and I mentioned them: Italian, Hungarian, even Bulgarian, and Mavrud, for example. Some nice Austrian ones, very nice. Heuriger, there's a great place outside Vienna where you can try great Austrian local red wines, fresh and sparkling and fantastic, especially in the summer. But Germans as well, along the Mosel, fantastic wine growing region. French, obviously, the Bordeaux, the Burgundy, if you want red, white, and the Rhône, and there's many regions obviously in France that are fantastic, but also Spain with their Rioja is something that I really like. Again, it's a more full-bodied stuff, so you don't drink it every day. And then the New World wines, okay, something like United States, okay. There's a curiosity here. There's a special collector's bottle of Elvis Presley wine cellars. Manteca, California is a Californian Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a 2015 one, and believe it or not, this is obviously a collector's item. We didn't open it, okay. Believe it or not, it's good. I had another bottle of this Elvis Presley Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's actually good. It's again Manteca, California, Elvis Presley wine cellars. Wow, just to show you some out of context collector's material there, but obviously California is fantastic with all their tremendous red and white wines. Napa Valley, don't have to mention. Some great ice wines, dessert wines touching there again. And like Chile. Chile has some fantastic, beautiful wines there. Chi, 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 le, 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 viva Chile. because the country has just everything that is perfect for fantastic wine growing, great varieties there, beautiful. Same thing goes for South Africa. One of my favorite South African wines is called Two Oceans, and it's it's just so I don't know, something so close to my taste in general. And I really like that. But again, Australian wines from New Zealand. So there you go. I'm very open to great, good quality wine from wherever it comes. And one of the greatest surprises I've ever had, it was coming from the Lebanon, actually from the Golan Heights. If I could, Chateau. What was the name? It escapes my my mind at the moment. But I was trying that. Something with an M, Chateau M Musta, so something, I can't remember the name now, but I tried it back when I was living in Dublin. I went just in and said, now I want something special, and I got this wine from the Lebanon, and it was heavy, and was beautiful. You could smell, you could taste the real, you could tell that it's not American, it's not Australian, it's not coming from France or Hungary. There's something very special. I think Chateau Moussard, probably. I'm trying to think of the name as I speak. Fantastic. And the same thing goes actually for wines from Israel as well. Wow, I had a girlfriend there. She brought me back in '95. I don't know what it was. Again, this was so long ago. Beautiful, really nice. But you can tell that it's not Europe, and it's not the new world that we mostly know. South Africa or Chile is something different because it has some extra spirit in there. Fantastic. So there you go. I'm extremely open to my wines, and it's a great hobby. It's not as passionate for me as fragrances, but almost as passionate there as fragrances. And last but not least, before I leave you, I wanted to show you something that makes every wine lover's heart beat faster. Not me drinking the wine, no. This one. Check this out. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the menu card, if you can see it, by Sparks Steakhouse in New York City. It's Midtown New York, okay? Used to be or maybe still is, great hangout for the mob families, especially the Gambinos, okay? Paul Castellano got killed in front of Sparks Steakhouse in '85, and this one, okay, at the first page shows you all the fantastic stuff that you can get there: medaillons of beef, sliced steak, scallopini, fromage, meaning obviously cheese and shrimp and salmon and sea bass and trout. You have everything there, Yummy, and that's for the food, okay? Now comes the real big part. The wine list, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. It's a bit of a choice, and it continues in the bag. Okay, so let me see, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm walking into Sparks Steakhouse today, sometimes I actually do that. I imagine to walk into Sparks Steakhouse, I cook something, or my wife cooks something, I have a nice wine then, and I do as if I'm in Sparks Steakhouse. So let's go for something very special here. Oh, a Bordeaux. Why don't we choose a nice Bordeaux? Okay, I mentioned Chateau Palmer. Did I mention Chateau Palmer? Yes, my favorite Bordeaux. Okay, let's see for how much a Chateau Palmer at Sparks Steakhouse is fetching. I'm sure they have Chateau Palmer. There it goes. A Margaux Chateau Palmer 2004, from 2004, fetches at only $394.95. It's not that bad, is it? Because, you know why I'm saying that? Because it has a Pomerol, Chateau Petrus, a 2005 Chateau Petrus, which goes for $7,409 US, okay? But there are some other lovely ones. I think that the 7,001 is the most expensive red wine that we have on this list, as far as there's a 5,000 Petrus there as well. Some 3,000 Chateau Latour for 2.5. There's some great Saint-Emilion, Chateau Margaux at 1,309. It's very nice. It's not too bad now, but I think the cheapest bottle is around $69 here. And the most expensive is, I think, but they have some. There's some great, again, all the French are here: Loire, Alsace, Bordeaux, Burgundy, everything you want, and obviously broken down to the different wine sorts. You have a Merlot, and then you have the Pinot Noir. I love Pinot Noir. I didn't mention, but I really like it. And you have all the Italians. I think my favorite Clemente set is not here because it's not available everywhere. So that makes really a heart lover's heart beat faster. Okay, a wine list like this, I mean, probably the most extensive and expensive wine list that I've come across, but I hope that I will be able to one day enjoy a nice probably a nice steak with a Chateau Palmer Great Margaux in the Sparks Steakhouse. So be it. Cheers to that, right? Thanks very much for your attention. I think I covered what I wanted, and I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. Okay, it wasn't about fragrances, but maybe some other input sometimes is very much needed in order to keep it a bit more versatile. Okay, and chin chin and love y'all. Salute. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.